Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, or Senstaku, as you might know me on Twitter, the executive producer here, and I just want to thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us that people watch, listen to, and enjoy our shows. If you want to help us keep making these shows as fun and lively as they can be, please join your fellow fans in supporting us at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms or by subscribing to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/finalshowfilms. It really means a lot to us that the amount of you who do support us continue to do so, especially our $25 plus tier supporters on Patreon. Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, Samantha Bates, Maureen Monty, and Gravity Alexander. Every little bit helps, so thank you to all of our patrons and subs. Check us out on Twitter at Final Show Films and on our website at www.finalshowfilms.com for updates, go-live notifications, and more. We love interacting with you, so feel free to tweet at us or email us at finalshowfilms@gmail.com. That being said, Please relax and enjoy. We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Shadows of the Neon, our Werewolf the Apocalypse Chronicle here on Final Show Films. My name is Jack. I am your storyteller for this whole thing, and joining me this evening is Jeremy.
Hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm playing Aiden Taylor, a Hamid Philodox, child of Gaia, walking disaster, bisexual person.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm back. I'm Mara, and I'm playing Alexandra Core, Metis Philodox Black Fury.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Ingvar Úlfsdóttir, the Hamid Getafenris Aryan.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm playing Anastasia Ambrose, who is Metis
We're all getting out.
Galliard Silverfang.
Yes.
I wasn't even planning to make a joke. I was just trying to say the words that were sitting in front of me.
I knew what you were trying to say there. Yeah.
I really want all the Get to just now officially call their metas Getis.
Getis.
No.
That would be a little too wholesome for the majority of the Get.
Yeah.
And John.
John, I'm playing a cow, the Hamid Silent Strider, Theurge, and Disaster Gay.
And Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I am playing Dakota, the Lupus Uktana Galliard.
Craig, who generally plays Sal Mararo, our Hamid Glasswalker Ragabash, is unfortunately unable to be with us tonight, but we will continue on in his absence. Now, last time we were in Vegas, our pack of werewolves addressed the aftermath of their commendation ceremony, spending some time in each other's company and attempting to somewhat process the emotional whiplash of things. Also, the threat of the regional administrator, that hyper-powerful Weaver spirit who has claimed the majority of the Las Vegas territory for its own, that threat is still looming, and there is a weapon that needs to be forged to oppose it. Conversations were had amongst the pack, however, along with food and some marginal levels of rest, and then the wings of the Mojave moved as directed to the workshop of the Ironborn pack. Ushering them inside upon their arrival, the Ironborn explained their initial ritual and requirement for anyone coming into the facility, which consisted of a gesture of respect for their pack's totem, a cannabis spirit. So having each consumed a quantity of awakened herbs, the pack now moves toward the place where hopefully the web cutter fetish will be born. So everybody has one die removed from their perception pools for the current period, as well as all rage rolls will be at an increased difficulty of 1. But you guys are making your way down a hallway.
Yes.
Toward a set of double doors.
You've made it harder for the one-eyed man to see things.
I have. But since everybody partook of the ritual, nobody's being excluded from entry. The doors swing open, and you are greeted by the view of a large, open interior area. There's significant infrastructure built around ventilation and airflow. There's a number of smaller workrooms that seem to have some level of sound and or air proofing to them for whatever point of the manufacturing process might need to be sequestered away from the general workspace. There's a number of forges, workbenches, tool stations. You see everything from mechanical trip hammers to drill presses to just a huge bevy of different areas, tools, and pieces of equipment that would be used in manufacturing a wide variety of things. There's actually probably about 60% of a car that seems to be being built from scratch over off to one side, kind of half poking out from under a tarp. There are a number, especially towards the exterior of the area, of display racks and cabinets and cases with glass fronts, some of them secured, looks like some level of gun safe and that sort of thing, for what seem to mostly be completed items. A lot of weaponry around. But as you guys enter and sort of get the lay of the land, your hosts sort of gesture to feel free to look around.
I am looking around for the tools that I will require and the materials that I will require.
Give
Does
me.
it seem like there are? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's something.
Okay. Hekau, go ahead and give me a perception and crafts roll. Difficulty 6.
Difficulty 7 because of my missing eye with one less die. There it is.
And your specialty would apply on this one.
Wait. Why did it just roll and not ask me if I had any mods? That's weird. Hang on. Yeah, it's not prompting me to put in any modifiers to the roll.
Okay, well, bear that in mind as you
-1
progress. Well, no, you're
okay. No, I added the modifier in on the thing. So,
okay.
Yeah, the dice
Well,
pools don't ask.
we're going to go with your first roll, which is 2 successes. Oh wait, I see what you're going for there.
Yeah, no, I had to add in the -1 modifier because I have -1 to my dice pool. I was rolling too many dice.
All right. Well, so that's 4 successes then,
Yes.
which is pretty damn impressive. Looking around, you can definitely pick out an area of the workshop that seems to be primarily set for blade craft. There aren't any raw materials out and visible, but the forge, the metal shaping tools, it's all in fairly close proximity to a couple of workbenches and the necessary other hand tools and actual modular parts that you might need in order for shaping something from raw stock into a blade is there.
Okay. And as far as etiquette goes, like, they know why we're here. So
they have based on what you've been given to understand so far, they have a rough idea that you guys need to make something.
I thought when we introduced ourselves previously, it was like an explicit understanding. I think that I might have missed.
No, I'm saying that was their initial understanding. You've explained to them in a little more detail what you're going for here, but it's not like they knew ahead of time and have set out things in preparation.
Got it.
Yeah, you showed up and were like, "Hey, here's what we need." And they said, "Come on back."
Okay. So with that understanding, am I understanding that I can just go to work? Or do I need to wait and ask permission or something?
Go ahead and give me an intelligence and etiquette roll, difficulty 6.
How big is the space?
It's probably about 50, 60 foot square.
Okay.
It's pretty decent size, yeah.
2 successes.
2 successes. You have a feeling that this is not just them bringing you in and saying help yourself. If they have things in place or any sort of practices that are sort of standard operating procedure for them, it would be good to ask about that ahead of time. And then more or less you're working in somebody else's studio. So this is still not your space.
Yeah. So who can I don't know if they introduced themselves properly or if I can just tell. Is there an indicator as to who the principal smith in the room is?
In terms of you know that Steel Trap Mind is their alpha.
Yeah.
As far as comparative skill levels, that's not particularly evident. But yeah,
is Steel Trap's in the room?
Yeah, Steel Trap's with
So
you.
I will look to Steel Trap. I can see that, and I think I've been asking multiple questions. I confirm that all the things I need are here, right?
Yeah, tool-wise, yeah.
Yeah. So looking to Steel Trap, I can see that everything I would need to begin construction of the fetish blade is here. How shall we begin?
He gives you a little bit of an evaluating, appraising kind of glance. Did you bring materials, or do you need to acquire those?
I did not bring any materials. No. Jack. Again with the. I'm trying to figure out what I should sort of etiquette wise as to where I should be mental space wise. From the way Hikau was told to come here, it felt like everything will be laid out for you. Just go. Was the impression he got from Silverstein. Was that the correct impression that he should have acquired, or was it
as you're progressing further into this encounter, you're starting to realize that Silverstein might be able to come in here and just do what he wants.
Yeah.
You probably can't quite yet.
Gotcha. I sort of look at him and go, there was apparently a misunderstanding when I was instructed to come here by Silverstein. We don't have any of the materials ourselves, no.
What do you have for trade?
I have the perfect thing for people whose totem is a cannabis spirit. I pull out 3 loaves of bounty bread. These are talents that I have crafted in my travels. I am more than happy to create more if it is deemed necessary. This one piece of bread is enough food to satisfy one's hunger for an entire day. I also have other talents that I can craft. And I'll pull out a pair of long striders as well. These allow one the energy required to continue operating past the point of exhaustion for roughly 8 more hours. I imagine these might be useful for those of your pack.
Give me a charisma and expression, difficulty 6.
Any bonuses to that for having partaken of their ritual and anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
This is pretty much a straight trade option here.
That's charisma expression, you said?
Yep.
I'm good at expression. 6.
Yep.
3 successes.
He'll reach out, take one of the bounty breads and one of the long striders, kind of look at him in his hands. And we will observe your right.
Certainly.
Come, let me show you where we store things. And he'll walk you over to a side locker, pull it open, and pretty much everything you're going to need, materials-wise, is in there.
Okay.
You've got a number of different type of woods and bindings for hilts and handles. There's various grades of raw material, and there are indeed, for looks like reasonably pure workable silver ingots of individually. One of them would probably be enough for the silver aspect of the blade that'll go into this clave-esque fetish.
All right. And if the indication has been presented, I'm going to spend my last point of rage to shift into Krynos form, leaving my coat intact as usual, so that I have places to put things as I need them.
Yep.
And we'll go about beginning the forging.
Okay. What's everybody else doing as Hikau is engaging in this first stage of the crafting process?
And because I wasn't here last week, how many other of the other pack are here? Is it like the entire
the entire pack is here,
Okay.
all 4 of them. You've got Steel Trap Mind, who's their alpha, and also one of the elders of the Mojave Green Sept. Russ Bucket, who was the one who greeted you at the door, and who you had seen in the company of Angela Jennings, who is also here. Those were the 2 of the Ironborn that came to pick up the drone at the halfway house when you guys had captured them. And then the last individual who you had not previously met is Carl Fordright, who is the child, of 2 of the kinfolk that live at the halfway house.
I'll grab, I guess, Dakota's arm. Wanna go look at knives?
Is Dakota still in her right mind right now?
I mean, you're still high. You're functional, right? But yeah, you've got, like, as far as you're concerned, you walked down the hallway for about 10 minutes, and then you walked into the shop. Hikau started talking to somebody. It's been about a half an hour or so. And then if you pull out your phone, you realize that only about 5 minutes have transpired. Yeah, you're really getting that sort of elongated sense of time high sort of thing right now.
But yeah, no, she'll go with Alex though.
All right, begin to perambulate.
Okay.
Just going around the outside of the building and looking at stuff.
Okay.
I don't know what any of this is, so. There
are a lot of weapons.
Yep.
Knives. There's a couple of full forged swords. There's a number of looks like handcrafted firearms. Then you get into the larger stuff, the archery equipment, the spears. There's a couple of double-bladed axes, which is a very Black Fury sort of weapon design.
Yeah, I'll linger by those. Interesting.
Yep.
Does it look like it's all like made by a lot of different people, or I'm like trying to just, I don't know, look around at things. I've never been in here, and
do you have any
I don't have any dots and crafts.
Okay.
Nope.
Go ahead. What knowledges do you have?
I have academics, computer, enigmas, investigation, law, occult, and rituals.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and give me an intelligence and academics roll.
Okay. Sure. And I don't have any, there's no modifiers to that, no.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. What was the difficulty?
Difficulty would be 8 on this one.
Okay. I got a success.
The craftsmanship does vary fairly significantly between them. You're able to pick up at least some of that. Most of them seem to be vaguely anachronistic for the modern era. You don't know a ton about guns other than, you point that end at somebody and pull the trigger. But you are pretty certain that having a pronounced curved exterior hammer that falls down onto an exposed point on one side, despite the sort of modern recent function of its creation, not exactly a super modern design. But then there are some other things that look more like the sort of things that you've seen Sal and Aiden use on occasion as well.
So there's a modern rendition of a flintlock lying around.
Percussion, but close. Yeah. No, somebody whipped up a pair of dueling pistols, basically.
Wow. Is anyone, because I would have probably tried to peel off from the rest of the group if, like, because Hakao is doing his thing, I guess we would have kind of like peeled off the side. Is another one of the other pack following us, or are they kind of just like...
Nobody's really following you right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Carl has gone over to sort of shadow Hakao a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them seem to either be just hanging out or working on other things of their own. Angela's kind of rearranging some things on a workbench that's fairly close to the door where the rest of your pack is sort of knotted up, kind of being present in case anybody needs anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly Aiden is keeping physically and sort of socially sort of back from everybody, and is just keeping an eye on the on his pack, making sure that nothing goes horribly wrong here.
Roll me a d10.
Okay. That's a great... Oh, fuck. That's right. There's one character that's... I feel like I'm about to say, I go kick Sal's ass. 7.
With a 7. Sal actually is weirdly on a fairly reserved tack. To an extent, he's sort of perusing a couple of the glass-fronted cases, but almost like he's at an art gallery. He's sort of doing a chin-stroking, hands behind his back, sort of pretentious academic analysis of weapons that you're reasonably sure he doesn't have a ton of facility with, given that none of them have moving parts or bullets.
Fair.
Yep. But he's sort of overtly behaving himself, possibly in a sarcastic manner. You're not quite sure.
I'll take it. It's Sal.
Right. But as you walk around, just trying to keep an eye on people as they sort of drift in and out of sight, but behind some of the larger pieces of equipment, you walk past one sort of metal fronted cabinet, and something inside just thunks to the ground rather heavily on the interior.
I look towards nearest one of this pack.
That'd be Angela.
Yeah.
She's just like 10 feet away from you.
Something just fell over here.
What's that?
Something just fell over here in this. Didn't do it, didn't touch it.
That's a bit odd.
Yep. Thought you probably
she
wanted
comes
to know in case
over,
there was something
pulls
important
out
in there.
Pulls out a key ring and unlocks the cabinet and swings it open. And you can see it's a rack of just weapon after weapon after weapon after
Mhm.
weapon. These seem a little more ornate, a little more like these are not mass produced. These are definitely individually handcrafted ones.
Right.
And she bends down and picks something up off the ground or the floor of the cabinet, as it were.
Okay.
You can see as she does so that there's a spot for it, kind of like two slightly felted hooks sitting out about 8 inches apart. It's just a piece of wood that she picks up.
Huh.
Don't think I ever asked. What's your tribe there, lad?
Gaia.
She
Unicorn.
looks back down at the piece of wood that she's got in her hand. Right. Shuts the cabinet, locks it again, and just walks directly over to Steel Trap Mine.
Okay.
What had Anya been looking for or wondering about?
First question, is there somewhere to sit that's not directly any of the stations? Like Anya has enough craft to identify these
Yeah.
are the stations.
Yeah, no, there's a little bit of a sitting area, kind of like a little leisure corner, more or less.
Okay, I'm gonna go sit there and just be panic angry.
Okay.
It's a beanbag chair.
That is a perfectly valid reaction when stoned.
Yep. Yeah. No, there's
especially when you're very, very autistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a couple ratty armchairs, sort of low, kind of weathered, chipped coffee table, little ratty oval rug that sort of ties the whole thing together. Couple of old
So basically,
Field and Stream
everything that my
magazines.
compulsion or whatever the flaw is called does not like.
It's your standard, not quite a break room that you would find in any sort of workshop, auto shop kind of area. Yeah, it's not what Anya would probably consider comfortable or professional by any stretch, but it's convenient at least and out of the way.
Yeah, that's fine. Everything is wrong anyways.
Poor Anya.
Just
You're not wrong.
seething, which probably feels particularly pathetic to all of the properly rageful werewolves around because docile.
So Hekau, you are provided with the materials and tools with which to begin your crafting process.
Insert, artistic depiction of Anubis forging a weapon.
Okay.
Does that look like an
Let you start, since you guys got here fairly early in the morning and there is enough time. And just so everybody else knows, this is going to be an extended roll. Each roll is going to take a full day of work, and there's a number of successes that need to be reached. So part of it is going to be dexterity in crafts. Part of it's going to be intelligence in crafts, basically design and execution phases both. So are you going to start on the blade or are you going to start on the sheath?
blade first, because it's going to take longer.
Okay. Which pool do you want to start with first?
Start with the design.
Okay.
Plan out first.
Sounds good. Go ahead and give me an intelligence in crafts roll, difficulty 7.
Work first, plan later.
Wait, what? Plan first, work less.
You can
So-
spend willpower on these.
Okay, so I'm going to spend 1 point of willpower on this.
Okay.
That's the wrong thing. I was trying to add all that. Craft. What? 7?
7.
So I've got 1 auto success, and my specialization applies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 minus 1 is 5. So actually, because of that 1 extra, that's 6 successes.
Nice. So with this first day, realizing what sort of things that you have in place and the sort of things that you have at your disposal, your endeavor begins to take shape. You know your materials, you know the space and the sort of mechanics that you have in order to impose your will on this raw piece of metal. You have in mind a series of dimensions and you begin to plan that out, and the initial shaping of this blade begins to take place.
This is my
Excellent start.
I need to compensate for my own physical weaknesses. Let's figure out the best way to do this so that it does not rely upon my ability to be dexterous or strong.
Yep. Now that is enough successes on the intelligence phase that literally all the rest of the successes you need to get will have to be from the dex crafts pool. While Hikau is engaged with this, you guys initially see Angela step over to Steel Trap Mind and sort of pull him to the side. And they have a whispered conversation back and forth. And Steel Trap eventually shrugs his shoulders and walks out a side door. And Angela comes back over to you, Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, the Elder'd like to have a bit of a word with you outside.
Right? Sure. Give everybody just a quick look that sort of says, please don't do anything horribly wrong.
I want to hook. Dang it, what's your character's name?
Dakota?
Dakota?
It's hidden? Not Dakota.
Already delegated.
Ingvar into the next round if you have not started looking at things. Come on, join.
But yeah,
Let's go window
along with
shopping.
As Aiden gives that look, Dakota just picks up an axe and starts swinging it.
Ingvar reaches a hand out and grabs the axe.
Thank you.
Oh.
It's sharp.
These are not toys.
These are tools, not toys.
Yep. Yeah.
As you step outside, you see Steel Trap Mind over in a well-secluded area of the exterior yard. The entire workshop is surrounded on most sides by chain link fence with those sort of plastic slats in it, so that it pretty well obstructs vision as well. And he's sort of just spinning this section of wood in his hand. So you're a guy.
Yes.
And he holds the piece of wood out to you.
Pause for a moment before taking it.
It hits your palm, and it's heavier than it looks. You know, it seems to be hickory wood, but your knowledge of weapons and that sort of thing, a section of hickory wood this long should weigh less. This thing weighs about as much as a full-blown war staff would. And there's a faint vibration in it. This thing is a fetish, whatever it is. You can tell there's a spiritual resonance here.
I look back, brow furrowed.
Do you follow the way of the staff?
I do.
He points at what you're holding in your hand. This was left in our pack's care by a lone wanderer some 20-ish years ago. He never gave his name. He arrived in the city on an October afternoon elderly. He simply was called the Gaian within the Sept. He spent almost a year here. Joined no pack. Simply made himself available to the Sept. Offered knowledge, insight, wisdom. He was a teacher. Dispensed what he had learned over his lifetime to any who would listen. And then in the height of the following summer, divested himself of anything of value, left that with us, and walked off into the desert alone, as is the way with some who see the end of their path in sight. He said someone would come for that when it was needed.
I see.
Go ahead and roll me just roll straight Gnosis difficulty 6.
Right. Gnosis, where is my...
As you say those words, there's a brief pulse, and suddenly the length of wood expands out to the full length of a staff, and you can see faint engravings on it. Storm clouds, lightning bolts, leading down to the lower end where dense forest foliage, the entire about 3-foot middle section is basically just this detailed carving and engraving into the hickory of more or less an outdoor scene. The balance on this thing is impressive.
This is, yeah, there's just sort of a sort of involuntary intake of breath. This is, you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little bit of a loss of words.
Well, we in our pack tend to listen to the spirits when they reach out.
Yes.
I think it would be wise if you took that with you.
We didn't hear whatever it was you just said.
You have my gratitude.
Take a few minutes if you need to test it. I'll send Russ Bucket out to see what you can show him.
You're well.
And he'll just turn and walk back inside, leaving you out in the yard.
Okay. Staring at it, not quite unlike somebody holding a cobra in their hands. And not the kind that go la 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 la.
Fair.
Aiden,
All right.
The fuck
Those
is
of you
this shit, Taylor?
What are the rest of you inside doing?
I think Ingvar is
Dang.
mostly keeping an eye on the energetic high ones.
Yeah. Sort of pacing.
Weapons are fun.
I'm sure none of them does anything that will hurt themselves or others.
Nope, not gonna do that. Hey, Ingvar. Ingvar.
Mm.
Oh no.
Have you seen stuff like this before, like back home?
Yes, to a certain extent. This workshop is unique, and the spirit that drives it is as well. She says, sort of looking around at the probably still faintly drifting marijuana smoke.
What's your favorite one?
What, weapon?
Yeah.
I've only seen one in all of my days, but back home, the leader of the Great Sept that kept most of the region safe holds an ancient iron hammer that is passed down through stories and legends. It's one of only a handful that exist in this world. They're known as the Jarl hammers, and each of them has its own name and strength and story. But the one that he carries is said to strike like a bolt of thunder when thrown, and it was one of the most beautiful pieces of craftsmanship that I've ever seen.
Is this a Thor situation? Where like you have to be worthy to wield it?
Sort of. I don't think the hammer itself judges you quite so much, but it's a matter of pride and honor, and these Jarl hammers are some of the most ancient artifacts that the Get have ever put onto Gaia.
Hope you get one someday.
Jack, you said there was a member of the pack following me around, sort of watching what I was doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So because this is like the planning and sketching and just preliminary mechanics phase, I have laid out the copy of the ritual that I wrote on the table next to another blank sheet of paper on which I am taking all of my notes and instruction. Like I'm basically writing a guide for how to build the web cutter while I am building the web cutter.
Okay.
Both for my own sake as a way to give myself a very easy thing to follow so I don't have to think about it too much while I'm doing the mechanics. And also so that I give the person following me easier ability to take notes while I'm working without me having to answer any questions or them having to ask any questions. Because that was part of the deal.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, Carl's simply basically, he's kind of your shadow right now. He's dressed in kind of normal working clothes. He's got his tool belt on and that kind of thing, and he's just hovering but not helicoptering, as it were.
And I'm making sure to lay out the information in a very easily readable fashion.
And he's just kind of nodding along and watching your points, and occasionally he'll give a kind of grunt of either approval or understanding as you sort of come to a conclusion or make a particular point. And you notice that he's got a number of sigils and glyphs worked into his belt. That it gives you the idea that he is probably, all of them are probably pretty well accomplished craftsmen.
He's the forge master.
You're guessing that he's either the forge master or at least the fetish master. Of this pack.
Two fetish crafters admiring each other's work.
Pretty much.
Not telling that this is the first fetish I've ever crafted.
Yep. The rest of you, as you're sort of perusing the weapons that are here, the level of workmanship on display is pretty damn impressive. Not only from the actual functionality and composition of the individual objects, but even down to the accents and the illumination and any sort of secondary design. They don't just make effective stuff; they make gorgeous stuff here. And there's talent and artistry on clear display as you go from case to case, looking through and seeing what sort of things are available. Dakota, nobody even seemed to blink at you just grabbing an axe and giving it a few test swings there for a bit.
Yeah, she's gonna keep doing that with weapons unless people are stopping her.
Ingvar makes sure she doesn't swing them too raucously. Like, she'll let her try them, but after a minute, she's like, "Okay, stop before you hurt someone."
I'm fine.
Alex isn't touching anything. I'm just looking.
Eventually, Angela will sort of catch up with you guys. If you're wanting to test some things out, we've got, practice rooms.
I mean, here's fine. She says, swinging one.
Aye, but if you wanted, actually hit something with it, or
Yes.
all right, are we going for melee or thrown?
I want to throw things. Let's throw.
She goes over and pulls out a key and unlocks a particular cabinet and just begins pulling out knife after axe after just a number of different things. You're pretty sure there's a few ninja stars in there. She's just grabbing anything that looks like it might be pointy and able to be stuck into something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go on over here then. She takes you to a side room where the dimensions are about 30 feet down. So it's not a huge distance, but there's basically just two wooden planks, probably each a good 1.5 feet across on the far end. And there's a number of punctures and gouges and that sort of thing, and vaguely painted bullseyes on there in some sort of
I've seen
paint or chalk or something like that.
I'm following behind. I've seen
Are-
videos.
Are you coming in the room with her?
Yes.
Okay. Dakota will offer you some like knives or whatever she's got.
I'll take.
Do you want to try?
Yeah. Sure.
We can do it together. I mean, we should probably take turns, but we can do it together.
Mm-hmm. You go first.
Okay. Dakota will start throwing.
All right. Go ahead and give me a dexterity and athletics roll. Are you going for a knife or a ninja star?
Ninja star sounds the funnest.
Ninja star? All right.
Yeah.
Dexterity and athletics, difficulty 7.
Okay. Zero successes.
Yep. You fling your first one out there, and you kind of throw it like a frisbee, and it sort of goes at a little bit of an angle that you weren't anticipating and sort of bounces off the wall and then clang, clang, clang onto the concrete floor. Try it a little more. It's straight line. Think straight
I
line.
can't wait for a botch and someone to start bleeding.
It's all fun and games till somebody loses an eye.
Yep.
That's why I told Ingvar to watch Dakota.
Ingvar actively is, but they're in the training area, so
Yeah.
you're standing at the back and waiting.
Also, if you're in the training area and you get bloody, that's what the training area is for.
You guys can keep throwing stuff, though. What are you picking out next?
Dakota will grab some knives.
Okay.
There's an axe. I'm going for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. You guys can both make dexterity and athletics rolls then. Difficulty 6 on these. These are a little
Okay.
easier to hit things with.
Oh, okay. That's not a botch.
Not a botch.
But
Alex, you grab the axe and you fling it down end over end.
yep.
And it rotates through, but the handle is what hits the target first.
At least it didn't bounce. They can do that.
They can do that. Yep. Right.
We
yep.
have all of our fingers and toes still.
Yep.
Dakota, you pick up a knife and you're sort of feeling the balance on it, and you just whip it overhand down, and probably the second ring in, but it sinks point first into the wood. Angela gives you a little bit of a clap.
She will very excitedly jump up and down at that. I did it.
Good job.
There you are. A little bit of practice. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try another axe.
Go for it. Same roll.
I'm gonna put a willpower in this one.
Okay.
Why not? 3 successes.
So Alex, kind of seeing the dynamics at play here, you grab another one and you take your time and you kind of estimate the distance. Try and give it just the right amount of spin, and this one hits flat blade on right on the edge of the bullseye circle.
Hey.
And Angela slaps you on the shoulder. This one's a natural. Look at her go.
Dakota will give Alex a hug.
Yes. All right. We both hit one. One more? Whoever.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I smell a bit? Do I smell a bit of wager in the play?
Yes. What are we gonna wager?
If you don't have anything to wager, you can always have the loser do a forfeit.
Forfeit.
Yeah, you make him do something silly and embarrassing or something like that.
It's true.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Not to you. What else?
Okay.
Anya, you've noticed that Sal has moved on to a case where it seems like there's a number of they've literally crafted some war shields with various levels of spikes, and he's just kind of doing finger guns at them.
We could do a favor.
So not my responsibility right now. I will flash my anger in Sal's direction for half a second, but
he's got his back to you. He has no fucking idea.
I like the fact that all of this is happening behind Hekau.
Right, yeah, who's
completely
just very
not paying attention.
Yeah,
right, yep.
oblivious.
Yeah. No, very validly, no one is paying attention to Anya just being completely not okay with this.
Ingvar at this point, while they're having the conversation about what to do, sort of steps up to the table of throwing weapons and sort of looks over it for a second, grabs one of the axes, sort of steps over, lines up the axe in front of her, pulls back to the shoulder, throw.
Go for it. Dexterity and athletics, difficulty 6.
Dexterity, athletics.
Really excited for this to land right into okay.
Yep. Just adjacent, basically, just a little bit below that one that that Alex put out there.
I'm out of practice.
What about it, Dakota? We could do
A favor.
You do notice, however,
I like that.
Ingvar,
Let's go for that. Yeah.
That while it's just slightly less accurate, your blade has sunk probably an extra ½ inch to an inch into the wood. However, so that's something at least.
Difference in strength.
Dakota will point at Ingvar. She's not part of the bargain, though.
No. Mm-mm.
Well, here, I can probably at least show both of you a little bit of technique to maybe make this a bit more of a fair wager. And she sort of like guides. Dakota has a knife and Alex has an axe. So she sort of between the first, she
actually Dakota just picked up an axe.
An axe.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Well, then,
Or no? Do you want to? We could go back to the stars because you missed with that one, and then we'd be like on even footing.
I'll go with the axe.
Okay.
she'll sort of guide both of them through the basics of like you're throwing either with two hands or with one hand, but basically the premise is to line up your axe, bring it back in a straight line behind the shoulder, push forward in a straight line, let go at roughly forward, and so it's going to you want it to fly forward at the angle you're going for. And try and guide through the basics of throwing an axe.
Go ahead and make your rolls, you two.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps their rolls at all.
This is difficulty 6.
Difficulty 6.
I got 2.
There are places in Las Vegas where you can throw axe while drunk.
Yes. Also in New Jersey.
Yep.
I mean, Las Vegas is the city of horrible life choices. So
it's true.
It's right on brand.
I mean, the fact that they still can do it is the...
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So the axes spin out at roughly the exact same time, one towards one target, one towards the other. They both impact, the blades biting into the wood, but Alex's is probably about 2-3 inches closer to the center than Dakota's is. And it looks like we have a winner.
Hey.
So what's she gonna owe you?
I don't know yet.
Oh, that's the worst kind.
Yep.
I think it's the best kind. It'll be a surprise.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Angela just turns to Dakota, prepared to say something, and then is just like, nope, okay.
Just let it go.
I feel like Angela was just like, oh, she's a galliard. Okay.
Or she's a lupus, you know.
She's a lupus.
Yeah.
They haven't learned that surprises are always terrible.
Yeah.
Look, I'm working on it. You got to give me more time.
For sure. So Aiden, what are you up to in the intervening time as people are?
I said for probably about the first good solid minute, he's just sort of holding the thing at arm's length, sort of half expecting it to like whip around and hit him or something.
Right.
Why you hitting yourself?
Right, exactly.
Biggest dick Iskaku fetish on the planet.
I mean, it would be his luck.
You're right.
After that, I assume doesn't happen. I don't know here.
I mean, it's a staff as best you can tell.
Right.
Right.
I
mean, it's just going to continue being a staff unless you try and do something.
It won't start hitting you until you try to use it.
I will. Yeah, that's true. I have to make sure that I knock myself unconscious. So yeah, just very slow, very tentative at first, just like you would, frankly, with any other weapon that you're using. You know, new weight, new intricacies for a weapon for the first time. Just running through Patrick. There are words, and I can speak the words. Practice sequences.
Okay.
As opposed to Patrick sequences.
As opposed to Patrick sequences.
Go ahead and give me.
Those happen when Aiden's drunk enough and wanders downtown. And anyway.
So go ahead and give me a dexterity and Iskaku roll then.
Okay.
Did you see your handout there for this one?
Hold on.
It's
No, I
under.
did not.
It's at
The
the top
answer
of the
is no. I
handouts. folder.
definitely did not.
Okay.
Okay,
so
yes,
this-
I do see it.
Right. It gives you a flat +1 to any
Yep.
Iskaku roll that you're making. So go ahead
Cool.
and give me a Dex in Iskaku, difficulty 6, but with your
Plus-
modified die. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Don't know if anyone else is having this
Just
issue.
the +1, not the
The decrease
other
to the
part is the
difficulty.
activated part.
You have to activate it first.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, wording.
That's all good.
So let me see. Yes, we'll just choose. No, we'll just roll basic deck. Not one of the techniques, because those all have weird difficulties. Sorry, I have to set this up because it is. I have to figure out what trait the Iskaku one. It is other trait
Yes.
1. It is other trait 1.
Good to know.
There we go. Div 6. Oh, I did plus that. So
All
1.
right. It is taking a little bit. The weight is not crazy different,
Right.
but it is different.
Yeah.
You can feel the balance in it, and you can tell that this is a very, very well crafted weapon,
Mm-hmm.
which you'd expect. A spirit itself consented to
Right.
be bound into this thing and give it kind of magic powers.
Yeah, they don't generally do that for. I found a fairly straight stick on the ground. This is my
Right.
Iskaku staff now.
Right. I was walking down by the river. and
Ignore
let
the
me
rock.
Tell you, right?
He was walking in the woods.
But there's a level of very strong potential here
Okay.
that even on your first few passes through your practice forums, you can tell
Right.
this thing it doesn't have that personal connection,
Mm-hmm.
of course,
Right.
but even just holding it, you can tell this thing has seen time long before you. And even for somebody as frequently cynical as Aiden, I think there's still some level of connection to history that
Yes.
he can see the value in
That's
at
his thing.
times.
He fully believes in the mission and everything. He just doesn't believe in himself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which probably makes it a little weird that apparently
Yes.
a magic weapon leapt off a shelf at him.
We're getting to that. Yeah, after working for it with it for a little bit, he stopped. He just sort of looks at it. He goes, "You have horrible, horrible taste in people, and I'm just going to be holding on to this until the next person holding on to you until the next person takes it off my corpse." But okay.
Which is about when the door kind of bangs open a bit. And you see Rust Bucket in his embroidered jeans and work boots.
Right.
Stripped down to a wife beater now, holding a fucking spear. Boss said you needed... Anyway.
Sure.
Cool.
All right. This is going to hurt.
And he drops down into it's not an Iskaku stance. You can tell that he's
Right.
got facility with melee weapons, but he's not an Iskaku practitioner based on
Right.
stance, at least.
Well, I assume not, because I assume if anybody in the pack were Iskaku practitioners, they'd be holding this thing.
Potentially.
Aiden assumes that.
Right. Yep.
his assumption is this staff has not sensed anybody nearby who even knows what that means, much less. So the first idiot that did, they're like, you.
I'm so bored.
Aiden is the equivalent of like the slight drop of moisture in the desert, where you are literally licking the sand.
Right.
So yeah.
Cool.
Nah, Aiden's just a cactus that you don't have a knife for, so you just bite straight into it, needles and all.
Yep. About that.
Yeah. It
So,
totally makes sense. All right.
This will be yeah. He'll definitely work with him, spar with him.
It sounds good.
A day passes.
Yep, and he's using the spear as a staff. It just seems like this was the
Right.
closest thing that he had. You know, he's not pulling the blade around to try and employ that, unless you're like, hey, no, I want to see how this works. Come at me, bro, or anything.
No,
But-
because Hamid,
right?
and can't shift and still use staff because staff not dedicated.
It's true. Well, I mean, it is a fetish, so I think they sort
Yes.
of automatically do their thing, right?
I think, don't you still have to dedicate a
I don't
fetish
think you have to
you?
dedicate fetishes.
The
I'll look into it.
book says
Okay.
that there isn't a cost.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think it counts against the number of items,
But you
but
still
I
have
think
to
you still
do
have
the-
to have it dedicated to you.
You have
Otherwise-
to have fetishes dedicated to you, but they have their own gnosis ratings. So
Yeah. Otherwise, you could, I mean,
as someone who has three
imagine
fetishes,
the 90s
Yep. Mhm.
and imagine how people
that's right.
min-max that
you'll
shit
have
in
to-
the 90s.
You'll have to attune to it.
Yes.
which
Essentially, yes.
treats it as having been. But yes, you are not currently attuned yet.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So most of a day passes with you guys being allowed to futz around with weapons, train with things that you have been given,
Right.
or spend a ridiculous amount of time planning down to the faintest minutia your process that you will engage in with ensuing days.
I have a question
Yes.
for when that scene ended.
Mhm.
I'll ask probably Angela because she's kind of been with us. Like all of those out there, are those all made for people or what's
As far as our general practice goes, I mean, if something needs to be made for the sept, they usually come to us. We've got all the talent and resources and that sort of thing. Some of them are requests that or favors that are owed. We can always offer that sort of service and trade. Some of them are personal. A number of them are personal. And of course, there's the pursuit of great accomplishment. All of us, I think, have some level of ambition that we'd like to leave something for the future, even after we ourselves are gone, and making sure that there's stuff that outlives you. Well, it's a worthy pursuit in my mind.
yeah, makes sense.
Why? Did you see anything that particularly strikes your fancy that you're looking to put in some work for?
I was looking at the axes.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at a bearded, or are you? Ah, wait, I remember. Looking at a Labrys, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, not many of the Furies come through here, but the ones that have, usually pretty pleased with anything that they've taken back with them.
Did they have any Labrys in the display cases that we were walking past, or not?
There were two.
There were
Yes.
two. Okay.
Yep. Axe forging, that's a bit Carl's bailiwick, though. I'm a fairly dab hand at it myself, but not quite his level. Now, if you're looking for something that's more in keeping with the themes of your tribe, I can see what we could arrange between you and me.
Yeah. That'd be how much?
Well, we're usually willing to offer a few things in trade. I mean, if it comes down to it, cash never goes awry.
I have $500.
She kind of looks at you a little bit. 500, is it? Well, show me which of those you were looking at, and I'll let you know what we be after. And she'll walk you back out into the.
There were two of them?
There were two of them, yes.
What do they look like?
So the first one that you saw, it's a little on the smaller side. Shorter handle, slightly lighter blade.
Okay.
It's got just a number of glyphs carved into the blade. Mostly ones of war, aggression, rage, that sort of thing.
Okay.
The second one is larger. Either one of these you would be wanting to use two-handed. I mean, you could conceivably use them one-handed, but you'd have to be pretty damn strong in order to do so.
Yeah, not that strong.
Right. The second one has very much kind of like the almost full circle or full half circle on either side type blade orientation, and it does have a counter spike on the haft end of the handle. This one is just flat steel, doesn't have any engravings on the blade or anything like that. It's a little more of a kind of a modern minimalist sort of design. The handle on this one is more of a some sort of synthetic, whereas the smaller one has a wooden handle, probably either ash or something of that type.
Okay. She takes a second, like, now that it's actually possibly serious, and like looks them over, but then like, yeah, second one. That one.
No, eh?
Yeah.
Well, could probably have something akin to that pulled out in about 3 days' time.
Wow.
For if we're going to be taking extra care with it, or if there's anything specific you want added into the designs there, I could let it go for 400.
That would work. That sounds good.
All right. She'll ask you a few questions, and then she'll take that one down and take you in the back and let you swing it at a target a few times, just so she can kind of get your measure in terms of what's going on. She then says, "All right, now let's see in your war farm."
I shift.
Right then. She has you pick it up, and this time you can pretty much just one-hand this thing.
Yep.
You just slam it in a couple times. Right, good. Fair then. I think I've got enough to get started on. We'll call it a deal. Payment on delivery, all right?
Right. I'll hand out my hand for a shake, probably. and then realize and then shift and then like,
so
oops,
you
claws.
hold out
Wait,
your big
hang on a
Krynos
sec.
hand, and she, in her Hamid form, literally just reaches for it.
Okay.
But you shift, so you can either
yeah.
shift down or whichever, right? But
however
it goes,
it's sort of awkward. I probably shift like halfway through.
Right, yeah, and you're like, oh, okay, small hand. We're back, right?
Yep. Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Roughly about this time, everybody's probably well done being high. You guys have come down off of your drug thing, and the standard sobriety takes over again, and you guys are able to more or less function at normal capacity. Is there anything else?
Who just ate it? Okay.
It takes Dakota a little longer, but by this point, even she would be finished with her little adventure.
What level of hangover essentially?
None.
Does everybody have?
Interestingly enough,
Nice.
Nobody. Yeah, no. Nobody's green sick. Nobody got any sort of negative after effect. Yeah, it seems like. I mean, it was weird. It was disconcerting, but
right.
Nobody's got any lingering negative consequences from it, at least.
Well then.
Awakened weed, yo. All right, but that brings your first day at the Ironborn's location to a conclusion. So, is there anything anybody's going to do, or are we going to jump ahead to the next day of crafting? Because I assume Hikao's pretty much just going to do this every day until stuff is done.
Like
right?
I am doing nothing but sleeping and then forging. So
eat, sleep.
Anya
craft,
will
finish,
inform
repeat.
them that it doesn't seem like she's needed, and she will not be returning because she has a fucking job.
No, yeah.
She wouldn't say that, but
but legit. Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure.
actually run several companies and I'm responsible for several hundred people. I understand my responsibilities, but I must actually perform my other responsibilities.
That's fair. I'm pretty sure based on this Hikao, is everybody truly needed there, or things?
I feel like the necessity of the entire pack being there was for proper etiquette of first meeting and introductions.
Absolutely.
And use
I'm
of
just
the
making.
Space.
Yes, for sure. I'm just making sure that there isn't anything that we're not aware of as a whole.
As far as I'm aware, no one else should need to go. Though it would be helpful if Ingvar could come with me, simply because I'm going to be making this to your hands. So measurements will be required.
Yep, that's legit. No, I will. I'll go with you guys.
We're going.
Anya has already left to go back to her fucking.
Dakota's following Anya because she knows something's up there.
Sounds good.
I'm staying. And I asked that question. We're going?
I mean, we kind of have to. I point at Hikao's hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the rest of the sept did not make any headway while we were gone.
Just to be clear really quickly, what do you mean by we're going, Alex?
To the regional administrator, and we're going to be the ones to try and take it down.
I would assume.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's what has been.
You missed You missed.
No, yeah,
But
he
that
knows.
didn't get said.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
it's being expressed in character now because Aiden hadn't
yeah.
told anybody yet.
Oh
No,
yeah,
it's
that's
big.
true.
You know,
Aiden hadn't told
heck-
anybody.
Hekau was
No.
making it more. Hekau was making it to Ingvar's hand because it would be required because Ingvar's the one who's
Yep.
going to fight the spirit.
Yep.
I was making leaps because that's what Alex do.
Yep. This is on us.
Couldn't find anyone better.
I really wish you hadn't put it that way because I don't know how to disagree with you.
Well, to be frank, Alex, it's not that there isn't necessarily anyone better, though I think you're probably being a little too hard on the pack as a whole. But also, I hold up my arm where the symbol is currently getting closer and closer to full.
We're
And
definitely
that we're also still Cleof, and yeah, this is a whole like.
I'm the one that they're going to come after.
Look, Alex, as far as that goes, everybody who is higher than us was a Cleoth at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Many
they-
of the greatest stories of the nation involve people when they were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any concerns about any of you. You're going to do fine.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories and then seen people not come back. So
The way you say that, Aiden, makes me think that it's not us you're worried about, but yourself. Because you very specifically
Well, you
exclude
picked
yourself
up
from
on that very obvious tell, didn't you?
what's the plan?
There's no need to be rude, Aiden.
We need. It wasn't rudeness. It was sarcasm.
It was absolutely rude.
There's a difference. We don't have a plan currently because we need to know exactly what this thing can do before we have a plan. I don't
Okay.
know if once Ingvar gets it in her hands, it will cause a spirit nuke to go off, or if it's more of a scalpel kind of thing. We don't know.
It'd be very nice
Jack?
if I could just point it at the administrator and say die, but I don't think that's going to work.
Jack, being the person
Yeah.
crafting it, do I know how it's going to work roughly?
You've got yes. You've got an idea of the capacity of this thing. You know how it's designed to function, and there's a level of understanding of sort of what your end result is going to get, both mostly from Looking Glass's instruction and explanation, which you did have to, interpret a little bit through, but yeah, it's got a fair capacity specifically for that kind of thing.
But it's specifically, you stab them and it kills them. It's not like you twist the handle and it explodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but yeah.
Oh, so
it's a knife, and it functions, like a knife.
I can assure you, Aiden, the blade that I am forging functions like a blade. It's just particularly good at killing weaver spirits.
You're certain that once you stab it in, it doesn't, for example, theoretically use all of its wielder's life to kill the thing or something like that.
That would be a very different spirit. I could make a weapon like that, but I would not be using a wild chaos spirit for it.
And
Wild
you are
chaos-
familiar, and Hekau, you are also familiar with the cost of using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the cost specifically?
When it's activated, it deals 1 unsoakable level of aggravated damage to the wielder.
When
Yeah.
upon activation, it deals an amount of damage to the wielder. It does not drain their life force entirely and kill them.
Unless, of course, they only have 1 health
I mean, yeah.
bubble left. In which
That's-
case,
It
yes, does.
drains their life, just not all
I
their
feel
life.
like from Aiden's perspective,
What you're
that's
saying is,
exactly the
I'm
thing
not
I was worried about.
wrong.
No, you are wrong. If it was to drain their entire life for 1 blow, that'd be incredibly inefficient, and it would be a different spirit.
We're talking
We'll
a
set
difference of degrees
semantics
here.
aside regardless.
It's
Yeah.
you don't.
The point is,
So
we need, before we have a specific plan, we need to have all the tools with us and mastered.
okay. Yep. Sure. It one thought. Just the fact that we're gonna try and Ingvar is going to try and presumably stab an ancient spirit that has been wrapping its web around this entire city that the rest of the sept has not been able to deal with.
Well, they haven't been able to find it, as far as I'm aware. Otherwise,
they haven't been
sure
aware
they would
of
have
it.
already found it. Or they would have already dealt with it.
Thought they were aware of it.
Not until we announced that it was a thing, and then they couldn't find it
yet.
I thought they, out of character, I thought they were aware. We told when we.
Yeah, they were aware after we told them. Yeah,
they were aware of it.
Yes,
and
literally the sentence I said.
Yeah, and in the few months since we've told, in the month since we've told them, they have not been able to find it.
Yeah, so possibly it might be good to I don't know, strategize the stabbing part, because if I am an ancient spirit of order and patterns, and I invite a group of people back in, and I have spent at least a little bit of time figuring out who they are or what their strategy might be, I'm gonna guess that the R rune is gonna go for me. Just gonna say it.
Right.
Yes, and if you can also assume that a train will run along its tracks, that doesn't make it any less efficient at running things over if they're stuck to the tracks.
So, yeah.
Just to be clear, is Ingvar wielding the weapon?
I thought you ran off after.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'm not there. Sorry.
I had a moment where I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Never mind. Sorry.
No, legit. That's all. Like I said,
it's an observation.
You're not wrong, but also this is a pattern spirit. It's not necessary. It's okay. The easiest way I can explain this, based on what I feel is likely, is it's very much the David and Goliath, or choose what gigantic powerful thing and less powerful thing
David
it is.
And Goliath,
arrogance.
Yes. Dallas told me.
It's the arrogance thing. It more than likely believes, being such a creature of order in everything, that everything is going to unfold the way that it must, blah, 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 blah. And so clearly nothing as insignificant as that, gesturing towards Ingvar, can do any damage to it. And that's what we're going to play off of, assuming once this thing is crafted and everything, that we have not learned any information to the contrary. We still have look at Hikau.
2
weeks.
Fair enough.
To do this. That's why I don't want to come up with the plan yet. There are too many things that we don't know. And unfortunately, I feel like the spirit itself is not something we're going to be able to get more information about, so we have to control as many of the variables on our side as we can.
Also, to be clear, it expects us to be there to negotiate, not to fight.
Also true. That's the arrogance thing. It assumes that the battle is already won and we're surrendering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's fair. I had a thought on the possibly trying to get more information.
Okay.
my mentors out in the desert have been watching the city. Perhaps they know some other facet of this thing that we do not, or other factions within the city that aren't under the sept directly.
It's not impossible.
Sal's got his book of phone numbers.
I think I was sitting here thinking, what other factions would there be?
I mean the other packs, the rest of the sept in general. Question.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire civilization of Ratkin that lives in the sewers.
I mean, yeah, there's
but I assume we don't know they
There is
exist.
You don't
least-
know they exist.
There is at least, there is this one Macaulay that's currently stealing people's cowboy boots that knows everything you need to know
Like,
about the regional
for real.
administrator.
Like I am absolutely positive that there is some virtual adept out there
Right.
who could tell us literally everything we need to
Who's
know.
like, man, things are really heating up in Vegas these days.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
interesting.
I wonder if the werewolves will take care of it. Let's find out.
Like who could probably wipe out the system administrator in like 6 keystrokes. Unfortunately, we don't know they exist and they don't care.
No,
I like to think that they're
they
just
are
watching
kind of
it.
freaked out right now.
I just like to think that they're currently watching the situation, like
Right,
from a
yeah.
like pop bowl of popcorn in lap, camera.
Oh, yeah. No,
monitors
this
and
is-
shit.
this
Yeah.
This
Like-
is fucking reality TV for a virtual adept.
Exactly.
100%. But no, so Alex, would you I know you want to go talk to your people, and I am fully in support of that, including for this and for other reasons. Do you think if like Dakota went with you, that would be okay?
They said to come alone.
My concern about that is that they made it seem like once you come alone, there's a finality there.
Would I have any idea, Jack?
Give me an intelligence and etiquette roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 6.
Once you come alone, we'll turn you into a ghost like us.
No, I already refused that. That was that's already been.
Your choices don't matter.
Was it
This is
intelligence-
Werewolf.
I mean,
Intelligence etiquette difficulty 6.
Difficulty 6.
Okay.
This is World of Darkness. Your choices don't matter.
3 successes.
3 successes. There wasn't a finality, like end state
Yeah.
to it, but there was definitely the implication that, and you will be here for a while,
Yeah.
learning the things that you should know that
Yeah.
have not been taught to you yet.
Yeah.
sorry, that was probably more what I was thinking, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I doesn't change how Aiden puts it because
You're not coming over for tea and cookies. You're coming over for a semester abroad.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, it'll be a while, and that's probably not good right now when we have a ticking
yeah, that's
clock
my
on.
that's my concern. I definitely want you to go out there and do that. This is the worst actually no, sorry. 2 weeks from now is the worst conceivable time. But this is 2 weeks away from the worst conceivable time.
2 weeks ago, I needed that. So
I know. No, for sure. That said, you're not wrong. There might be other parts of the city, and to be honest, there's a pack of
Oh.
disparate tribes. We can probably make connections with a lot of those.
I'll talk to Sal too. He might. I don't know anyone. I don't know who would talk to in the city, but yeah.
Yeah,
He
no,
might.
that is a good solid idea though, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, like I said, any variable we can control makes it that much more likely for us.
Yeah. I have to be back here to go back to the shop anyway in 3 days.
Okay.
Jack, as long as there wasn't an indication that it would take a little bit longer for anything, I don't think so. She would have pretty much
No,
stayed with the basics.
unless you had any
No.
detailed specifics that you wanted. 3 days was her
Yep.
schedule.
Yeah. 3 days. I ordered an weapon, so I have to pick it up.
Nice.
No,
Anyway,
if we're done
Okay.
with this conversation, I need to go pass out.
Go pass out.
I'm gonna go meditate.
Go meditate.
The cow goes and passes out.
Okay. So Alex is headed down to the Cairnheart.
Yep. To
Okay.
meditate willingly for the first time. So exciting.
Willingly for the first time. Fantastic. That's just glorious. All right, then. You can go ahead and make a Wits and Enigmas roll, difficulty 8.
Okay. Enigma. 8. 1 success.
You center yourself, doing your best to focus in on your spiritual nature, the connection that you have between this Cairn particularly, the one that actively reached out to you in a vision and handpicked you as part of this pack. And over time, you can slowly begin to draw on those spiritual essences that the Cairn itself is fairly rich in. And after an hour, you regain 1 gnosis.
Woo, I'm full up.
Awesome. And that is where we are going to take a break for a bit.
All right, back in just a little bit. Please enjoy these commercial messages. We're back.
Welcome back, everybody. So, everybody else is wrapping up at the Ironborn workshop, but the two Galliards left slightly early. So you guys are being driven back.
Who's driving, by the way?
Whoever Anya hired this time.
Okay.
I have people for that.
You assume that
You have people for
there's
everything.
just a closet full of muscle-bound Russian people who just when Anya pushes a button on her phone, the door of the closet opens, one of them falls out, they pull a car out of their pocket.
A new one gets unthawed every time Anya makes a call.
Right.
So what you're saying is Anya is living my best life.
Exactly.
And doesn't really seem to notice. No, it's a lot more boring than that. It's just rich people with a lot of contacts who sort of have horns and cannot be seen in public.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a driver because I assume Sal is staying with the rest of the pack.
Yep.
He drove it here. Yeah, is just probably staring out the heavily tinted window.
So, do you want to talk about it?
About what?
Your whole, like, how you've been acting? Because something's obviously up.
I do not like not controlling my own mind. It is distressing and it is to not have that control is I just do not like it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, just like how you were acting back there, but it's probably like what you just said. And I mean, that makes sense. I just wanted to make sure that you were okay.
I will be fine. I do need to do work and I do not want to. I have always felt that the things that I am most capable of to serve Gaia are in my interactions with the mundane world. Through my influence and capabilities, is not as a member of a pack who goes and fights. I cannot go places. This does not bother me. But the things that this pack does are not suited to me sometimes, it feels.
Well, I mean, they're not suited to all of us sometimes. I mean, I'm not crazy about drugs, but that's how we had to get in there. And it tastes really gross too.
Indeed. Are you okay? Because you ate the thing that is meant to be smoked.
I get that now. I just wasn't, yeah.
No, they provided very poor instruction. I know what to do because I am familiar with drug culture, even if I do not generally partake, aside from alcohol. A lot of alcohol. It's traditional. But
Okay.
I suppose
the last time it was presented to me, it was like in brownie form. So I kind of figured that you just eat it.
No, I think generally no. I think unless it has been changed into form recognizable as food, it is generally not eaten. The same as caffeine. Caffeine is drug, and generally it is not eaten unless it has been made into caffeine foods like coffee.
Interesting.
Clearly, if it's not there.
I should warn you
North
not to
the
trace
caffeine.
raw caffeine. You very well may die. May not, you are Guru, but you may die.
Like I said, in its natural form, clearly caffeine is supposed to be snorted.
Right.
Please don't die based on advice from a werewolf D&D game.
If you haven't figured out that my
Dies
character
by
makes
eating
poor
spit
choices
caffeine.
by now, I'm not responsible for anything that you do.
Okay, I will try to not eat it straight.
It is not concerned.
Now
I
I just
was
have
more
a
trying to explain.
now I just have a picture of somebody snorting coffee beans.
Oh, not coffee beans. The caffeine
No,
is
no,
a white.
I know that when you refine caffeine, it becomes a white powder. But Jeremy said natural state, which one of the natural occurrences of caffeine is in coffee beans. So I'm just
Yeah.
picturing somebody snorting coffee beans.
I mean, ground up, appropriately.
No,
Just
not
straight-
ground up, just bean.
bean. Just beans up the nose. Snorting coffee grounds is something entirely different.
If you figure
World
out
of darkness,
how to,
ladies and gentlemen.
no, this Guru could do it because when they shift, I'm assuming their nostrils get big enough
Exactly.
that they
Oh
can
my
potentially
God,
snort
no.
coffee.
Snort coffee beans directly.
The amount of damage that it would do to your sinuses and your lungs.
I was gonna say that doesn't go anywhere good.
Like, sure, you can regenerate the damage, but the
No,
coffee
like-
beans are still in your lungs.
It also doesn't work because you don't get the caffeine from the skin of
Right.
the bean.
Right.
Exactly.
Actually, this is one of the things that whatever child of Gaia runs the pro bono medical clinic, because you can't go to a normal hospital.
Right.
Like had to have someone. So what did you do? Okay, there are coffee beans wedged in your lungs, which have healed around them.
You just have a really weird cough from now on.
Your
Yeah,
breath
it smells
eternally
like
smells
Java.
like coffee forever.
Yeah. It
Yeah, you
smells
can
like
Anyway.
go
Java.
around and
Back in the car.
I now
Sorry,
know how
yes.
Dakota's going to die.
Anya's going to feel so bad about it.
Choking on coffee beans.
Snorting coffee.
Suffocating due to the bean.
Okay, I'm sorry. Where were we in the conversation?
In a car on a road driving through Vegas.
No, they were. I am not judge. I do not make judgment. It is traditional to explain how drugs are properly used when introducing them to people.
Dakota's just gonna hug Anya.
Mhm.
I don't know if you need this right now, but this is what I do. So
It is fine.
Ingvar stabs someone. I don't know if you need this right now, but it's what I do.
Anya hands over a pile of paperwork. I don't need this right now, but it is what I do. Actually, probably Anya and Aiden's nightly interaction.
Yeah. Yep, that sounds about accurate. To which Aiden then replies,
Aiden takes it.
I don't
takes a
know if you
huge
need
shot of
this
alcohol.
right now,
Right.
but it's what I do.
I don't know if I need this right now, but it's what I do.
When we get back to the halfway house to show how tired Hekau is, there's just a piece of paper stapled to the cafeteria door or kitchen door or whatever that is a dissertation about the reasons why Pepper sucks specifically because while the individual peppercorns are not hot in and of themselves, you douse so much of them onto food that the heat becomes overwhelming regardless of your specific heat tolerances. And then at the bottom of it, I don't know if you need this right now, but this is what I do.
Perfect.
This is the greatest meme.
This is a really
This needs to continue through all the final show films.
This
games.
has become a final show films meme.
And
now.
officially, that's not a joke. That actually happened.
Right. Oh, of course. Of course.
All right. So Hekau nails his 95 peppercorn theses to the church door in Wittenberg.
Yes. Great reference.
I grew up conservative Christian. If there's one thing we know how to do, it's make Martin Luther jokes. All right. But the evening passes. Everyone gets a level of rest. Everybody gets a willpower
Good, I'm gonna
for
need that.
having their night of rest.
I think I'm already full. What's the moon? From last
I
night.
am full too.
The moon currently is...
Because what I really need is rage.
We said that after some point excess rage goes down. I'm currently at 5 out of 4 total. Does that go down?
That will go down overnight, I will say.
Cool.
All right. The moon has been waning, so it is currently... actually, it is currently a waning half moon right now.
Which is who?
That is Philodox.
Boxes.
Yeah. So we
Yep.
get
I get
we
my
get
rage back.
Everybody
Get all
else
the
gets
rage? Okay.
one
Cool.
rage or 2 rage.
I think it's the
All right. So under a new moon, you get 1 point. Under a waning moon, 2 points. Under a
Yeah.
half moon, 3 points.
3 points. Yeah.
All right. I'm full up on rage.
So yeah.
points
If you are a
of rage.
Philodox, you are full. If you are not a Philodox, you get 3, which might also take you to full, because I don't think you guys are a super high rage pack for the most part.
Takes me to full.
All right.
From 0 to full.
Excellent.
I was gonna say, doesn't waning take you to full?
No, I have 3. I have 3.
Oh, you have
dots of
3 now?
rage.
Okay.
I bought
Yep.
an extra
Mhm.
dot of rage
Nice.
at some point. Oh no, I bought an extra dot of rage after the panic runaway fox frenzy.
There.
Yeah. That. Okay. On the following day, Hekau, you and Ingvar go back to the workshop.
Yep.
Okay.
And
So the rest
I
of
think
your
Aiden
required...
also wanted to go,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I was
Aiden
going
is
to say, was
going with.
Aiden was going along as well?
Yep.
All right.
It seems to be the place that is most requiring.
Cool. We'll start with Hekau then. So this one will be a dexterity and crafts roll if you're looking to conclude your work
Yep.
on the blade as quickly as possible.
if 7,
Difficulty 7.
spending 1 point of willpower.
Okay.
So that'll be 5 successes,
Nice.
5 successes.
which both exceeds the 10.
are-
And
Yep. Mhm. You are able to garnering a little bit of help and advice, not any physical assistance, but with any sort of questions that you may have on materials operations of the tools and machines, that sort of thing, plus your own innate knowledge on what sort of target you're shooting for and the pretty excellent set of designs that you had prepared. You are able over the course of the entire day to take the time necessary to functionally craft the metallic part of this blade. You have anything at your disposal that you would need in order to continue to accentuate it. What sort of final design image are you looking for here?
so, in order to both enhance its in order to both enhance its power against the Weaver, which is a spirit of order, and to make it a more comfortable design for a spirit of chaos. I've made it a sort of a bisected blade, where basically rather than a fuller, it's just two separate pieces that connect at the tang. So basically, I'm just reinforcing that as much as possible, and making sure that it is sized to fit Ingvar's hand as basically a short sword length blade. When Ingvar is in Krynos form.
Okay.
And you gave Ingvar a double-bladed a lightsaber.
And I'm forging it in Krynos form, so I assume it should be easy enough to make sure it's the right proportions.
Yep.
But yeah, that if I finish if with that many successes I finish in enough time, I would then start working on the planning phases of the scabbard of the sheath.
Yeah, no, it will still take you the entire day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, planning stages for the scabbard.
So yeah,
till the following day.
It's going to be a split bladed, basically short sword for as far as a Krynos form is concerned, with an S hilt, with a sort of an S guard hilt with a spike on one side. The tang will be it'll be an open tang hilt, which basically means that if you look on it at the side, you'll be able to see it, and basically the tang sort of digs into the pommel as a hook. So the pommel is a little bit more firm, which then allows it to push back firmly without having to constantly retighten it. And there is an engraving on the cross guard. There is an engraving of the symbol of the wild, and on the pommel, on the actual bottom of the pommel, there is an engraving of the Get of Fenris symbol.
Okay, awesome. You finish the wrapping of the grip. They have a number of materials on hand for that, and towards the end of the day, as the sun begins to dip below the horizon.
What color is Ingvar's fur in Krynos form?
Orange. Red orange.
The wrapping is going to be silver.
Okay.
Like not actual silver, but like silver colored leather. With brass trimmings on the cross guard and pommel.
Awesome. And you have a roughly 15-inch split blade that rises from this S guard. The edges, as sharp as silver will hold, tapering to a fairly intense point on either of the split blades.
And
it's an impressive looking piece of work.
It's also got a pair of jagged, like a jagged teeth on the slightly shorter right hand blade that look like they could be used for hooking and yanking.
Right,
as
a
well
serrated rake, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And handing it to Ingvar, don't test it on anything yet. It won't have the durability it needs to be used as a weapon until the spirit is bound to it. But you can get a feel for the weight.
Or muted.
Cannot hear you.
Am I muted? Oh, okay.
There you go.
Now we can hear you.
No, the input sensitivity is just really low because I had to turn it down. She'll sort of twirl it in her hand, get a feel for the weight. Experiment with it a few times.
It's a pretty solid feeling blade. The weight is not what you would expect from most of the things that you've been trained on. You weren't trained on many silver weapons. Some, but frequently you were mostly exposed to ones with more traditional manufacture materials.
And I mean, even among silver weapons, this thing has an awkward weight because it's not a solid piece. It's two split blades.
Yep.
You'll notice that it is sharpened on both sides, both the interior of the split and the exterior, so that you can hook it into webs and shear through rather than it getting caught.
Wait, is it a scissor blade? Like
it is
Kill la Kill style?
Like, kind of. It doesn't have the scissoring function, but like you can cut on the exterior edge as well as the interior edge. So with the interior edge, it's going to work more like a shear than a blade.
It's the sword of body and mind. It's any of the twin swords from Magic the Gathering.
Kind of. And like I said, specifically
yeah.
picked that so that rather than stabbing into a web and getting stuck, you actually have a cutting edge that can slice through the webs as well.
Mhm.
It's called Web Cutter. I figured I'd give it a little bit functionality in the cutting of webs.
But it feels light. It doesn't have that heft of a solid weapon that you would expect for something. And like he says, you're familiar enough with the basics of metalwork to know that this thing as it is right now would not stand up in a fight at all.
Mhm.
Any durability that it's going to possess when you go up against the regional administrator is going to have to be on the spiritual side of things.
My craft specialty is weaponsmithing, so I
Right,
would
yeah.
know that this is not a viable weapon until it's been enchanted.
Yep, basically. But it's pretty at least,
Yeah.
and it's balanced as well as you could hope for the materials that are being used.
Yeah, the handguard is made of brass because it's a solid piece of brass, which will give it a little bit more weight, and actually let it balance on the guard rather than being pommel heavy.
Uh-huh. So that you don't have to do the Vin Diesel maneuver and criticize the weapon that you've just been given. All right. Aiden, are you doing anything in particular? Or are you basically there to be present and
Be present, be the good representative of the pack who's working in another pack space. Probably practice a little bit more with the staff.
do you want to try your attunement roll on that one?
Sure, we'll give this a shot. You know what? I'll actually go ahead and spend willpower on this. It's just gnosis,
Okay.
right?
Yep, Gnosis difficulty 6.
So that would be 3.
3 successes. With the time that you spend with this staff, you forge that spiritual link, establishing that rapport between you as the wielder, the spirit, and the object that serves as the bridge between your connection.
Mm-hmm.
There's power in history here. There's a level of satisfaction that you can feel from whatever entity inhabits this weapon that you've been given, and you're not feeling resistance. You're not feeling any sort of opposition or adversarial energy to the interaction that you have with this thing. It's very much like it has been at rest and has now awoken almost in a refreshed, kind of prepared manner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Aiden is
It's
chalking that
weirdly
up.
positive.
Aiden is chalking that up to, well, in his mind, there's about a third of him who's like, this spirit is a very poor judge of character. It's about a third of him that's like, again, the oh God, water mindset, and a third of him that's not quite sure, and he's not quite comfortable with that third. So, because positivity, what? That doesn't seem right.
That's not what I run on. No.
No. But yeah, fair enough.
All
It
right.
leaves him wondering about some things.
Okay. Anya, are you doing any crafting today? Because I think you have one or two more rolls potentially to finish your project.
Oh, You told me it was effectively done and just needed some of the computer part wiring, but I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
Other question.
that's what I meant.
They
Yeah.
didn't mention to anyone, especially anyone who would not be quite aware of what was going on during the main thing about the stick.
No.
Cool. So I have 2 projects actually because
Oh,
I need
okay.
to finish the
Yes. Sorry, I forgot. Anya would be well. The wording would go something like, "Look, they have a fetish staff here. It's probably gonna reject me because but we might be cool if you've got other stuff that have priority. Do that stuff."
Anya. Can Anya roll like an insight or something to parse that?
Yeah.
It-
Wits and empathy.
Okay. Sorry, Jeremy.
No,
but,
legit. No,
like,
that's fair.
how much Anya understands the underlying meaning of that is important.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
difficulty 6 opposed, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I should probably roll a subterfuge because even
Shoot.
if he's not intentionally doing it, he is being
A little
let's see.
cagey.
Talking around it for himself.
Subterfuge.
He is talking to someone.
Not science. Subterfuge. Damn it.
Manipulation science.
Yes.
There are some very valid reasons to roll manipulation in science.
Yeah, like if you're trying to convince people that vaccinating their kids puts them on the autism spectrum.
I said legitimate
Hacking.
reasons, not bad reasons. Although that's a legitimate mechanical roll
Right.
for that.
Legitimate mechanically, illegitimate purposely, like
Yep.
universally.
Vaccinate your fucking kids is what I'm saying.
Yes.
So Ty,
Ty
unless
goes
you
to
have
the
a specialty.
defender. No.
Yeah, but Ty
So your
goes
question
to you.
is the defender? This is a common question that I've heard 9,000 different answers. So Jack, in his social role, is the person who's trying to deceive the defender, or is the person who's trying to look in the defender?
So as my general perspective on this is whoever the more active participant is the attacker, for lack of a better word. So in this
it would
case,
probably be me.
So in this case, Anya would be considered the defender because they're the one. Because Aiden is the one who is overtly doing the communicating. You're just trying to read it, kind of thing.
Fair.
That's how I see it.
Anya wanted to know what Pack Alpha wants.
Yeah. The general sense would be he's not. It is sort of a don't go ahead and let it go for now kind of intent.
So do I get the sense that Aiden has a stronger reason to suspect that this weapon will work out than he has communicated?
Not stronger than he communicated, because he did say it was a fetish staff. And
yeah, no, he was just like, oh, it's probably going to reject me.
Yes.
I was curious if Anya was going to be like, it's probably going to reject me, even though it reached out to me and I've already used it several times. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, cool.
Yeah. He's finding lots of reasons for that to be not the case. So, had this conversation happened after the attunement, it would have been different. Anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a don't worry about it for now overall sort of feel.
All right, then we can probably put that off. Yeah, and I don't know what the role is at this point, Jack, for my main project.
Yeah, if you're to finish up the wiring, will just be an intelligence and craft difficulty 5.
All right.
Yep. Right.
2 successes.
It is finished. It is functional.
Awesome.
It is
And now I really legitimately, even though I don't sleep, so I've been working on it then, Anya really is just spending the day working.
Sounds good. All right. Dakota, Alex, anything you two are up to today?
Well, since Sal's not here, I guess I'll do the other one. Dakota, I was thinking of going back out to my mentors and asking if they knew anything else about the regional administrator. Maybe something we missed.
Okay.
But Aiden thinks I should have someone with me.
I would
and so
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I will come with you.
okay.
Yeah, I really don't think you should be doing this alone.
Yeah, not yet. And we'll head out. Dang it. Can't drive.
Neither of us can drive.
I was going to say, which of you two is driving?
Yeah. Hey.
10
Sal's
minutes
gonna wanna come
later,
with
I
then.
get a text. Why was Dakota driving is all that's heard.
No, Alex is not
And
that.
Sal is currently away from the cairn as well.
Yeah, and yeah, that's not a good idea anyway.
You know, Anya has a supply of.
I was gonna say,
Russian
let's
You
just
get a
drivers.
text.
ask
Yeah.
Anya to produce one of these.
Yeah, you get a text. Hey, can we use your car service to go out? I need to go out to the waterfall. She'll probably phrase it that way because we're on text, and that's vague enough.
Yeah, I mean, I can probably do that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna see how annoyed Anya is at the world right now.
Okay.
Aiden said it was fine. You get that, like, if there's a pause.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
not
you get
immediately
that.
responded.
That comes
It's
through.
gonna pull that
but
string.
Dad said it was okay.
That's what I was about to say.
That is technically not untrue.
Exactly.
Daddy said as long as I could take someone with me.
That's
okay,
not a
that's
botch.
not a botch because there was a 10 in there, but Alex gets a link to whatever ride-sharing app operates in the city.
Okay.
At a referral link, because why not? And
Right.
and if you need, I can issue you a card.
Yes, I don't have a credit card. Did you ever get me the license? I had wanted.
I assume I did. Like,
Okay, I figured.
but I did very much ask that until you actually learn to drive, neither of you use your forged licenses.
I mean, I feel like Aiden would have said, make it an identification card.
Oh,
Not a driver's license.
yeah, that's
Don't
fair.
give them that power.
Don't give them that tacit permission to go driving.
Yeah. If
gotta
that's what
pick
Aiden
drivers.
wanted, that's what they received.
So you've got
Damn it.
state identification cards.
Damn it.
don't forget.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
vertical.
They're
They're
completely invalid, but you know.
they're vertical rather than horizontal, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Is that how it is in
Is
Georgia?
Dakota that old?
They changed. I don't know if it was universal,
So-
but at the very least in Georgia, they changed about
Till you're
15
21.
years ago. Until you're 21, your ID or your license is vertical rather than horizontal.
Yeah.
Oh.
If it's issued when you're 21 or under, it's vertical, which just means that bars have an easier time looking at it
Yeah.
and going,
Legit.
I need to check the date to be sure.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now, if you
No,
got
fair.
your license when you were 20 and then you were 22, you'd still be able to get into the bar. They just have to do the math.
Right.
it's
no,
just a-
that
Yes.
It's just a very clear delineation of this was issued when they were under 21.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I had no idea.
assume
I'm
we
old.
know yeah. So you would have already gotten those. I come by my office.
Thanks. Smiley face.
And yeah, I'll quickly arrange for essentially a child card with a reasonable but not particularly high limit.
Okay.
This is specifically for a ride fare. I can set up a credit card or debit card account for your day-to-day use, or you can ask Sal. I would strongly recommend asking me if you want it to look legal. But that is going to take a day or two.
And, probably not commit identity theft
Okay.
or other white-collar crimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit inevitable
Hey.
because Dakota is a lupus, but as minimal as possible with
Sal-
lupus and metis, but
Sal explicitly does blue-collar crime, Jeremy. Take that back.
I'm sure.
what color of crime is glam, bro?
Blue-collar crime.
It's as blue collar as it gets.
Yeah. Anyway,
Fair. Yeah, anyway.
so use that, go out, get car. Not near the cairn. I've been doing runs in the morning, so somewhere I know nearby that's a pretty easy landmark to find. That's in the open.
It may or may not occur to you, the reason Anya uses the expensive rental car service is because it needs to be someone who's not going to notice or is aware of
Who won't
the
talk,
horns,
yeah.
and also that
Right.
they aren't seen.
I like the fact that Alex is getting a lift to the middle of nowhere.
No, I'm getting the lift to the front of a trail. Okay, Dakota, we have to
Which is pretty
pretend
normal.
we're going hiking.
Oh,
Alright.
okay.
So you,
Dakota
so you
will
guys
go
are
change
walking.
her
So you
hiking
guys are
outfit.
walking out of the halfway house and
Yep.
down a little ways to meet.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Something that seems like a
That'll work.
pretty busy meeting spot, so that it's
Also,
not deflecting attention.
In my head canon, Glambro is a blue-collar crime because it literally leaves a blue after thing on your shirt.
Even you sweat blue.
Yes, you sweat blue, exactly.
That can't be helped.
Anyway.
So, you and Dakota grab your hikingist gear,
Yep.
pack probably snacks and water or something,
Mm-hmm.
and head out to find a vehicle that is apparently going to be there sometime in the next half hour.
Right.
Roll me a d10.
Okay.
Alex and Dakota go off on their own. Get kidnapped.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't
Three.
think this is going to end well.
3.
About a minute later, Anya remembers what happened last time Dakota and Alex went off on their own. And Aiden does get a text saying, I assume you did okay, Dakota and Alex going off? Question mark.
Meanwhile, you guys head out, trying to find your way to this meeting place. You're looking for an active meeting place, but you do have to go through a couple of less populated areas in order to get there, which is fine because that keeps you out of, public view a little more. It's a little less fine, however, as you're waiting at a crosswalk on a fairly deserted street. And there's a screech of tires as a beat up sedan kind of pulls up sort of on the curb. And a guy wearing a t-shirt and shorts, but a ski mask over his face comes out, points a .38 at you guys and says, "Give me your backpacks."
This guy just made the wrong fucking decision.
really depends on if they think about it for a second.
So what's real quick? What's the situation on the street? How many people are around? How visible?
Oh, there
are
is
we?
nobody around.
No one.
There's
Krynos
nobody
into the van.
Oh, don't do that.
So, yeah, Dakota shifts to Lupus.
Okay, we're doing it.
Acting on instinct.
We're doing it.
I'm so on board with this.
I'm gonna need everybody to roll initiative.
Yep.
This is
This is about the time that Anya gets a text saying, more or less.
Where's initiative?
But if they're
on here
heading
again?
out together and they're going out into the wilderness, how bad can it be?
like I said,
And then immediately after, oh fuck, I just said that, didn't I?
Here we go.
see, I'm just picturing like a cartoon, right? Okay, like van pulls up, guy jumps out, gun out, give me your bags, and then mid leap Dakota goes from Hamid to Lupus, gets him by the throat into the van, followed by Alex in Krynos form into the van.
And then
The van
shakes
rocks.
for a minute.
It shakes for a
Because
minute.
That's also a question.
It shakes for a minute, blood
Yeah.
sprays out, and then the van drives off. And you cut to an
Lovely.
interior shot of Alex and Dakota going, "We have a car now."
How do I do initiative?
Right
I'm
underneath
putting
where
it
says
on the
combat.
tracker for you guys.
Oh, okay. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Oh, you got a 6. Oh god,
Yeah.
this is gonna go great.
I feel like there
Yeah.
might be a surprise round because I don't think this guy was expecting a wolf to come at him.
Well, he had a gun pointed at someone.
Yeah. Am I going
And
first or is
then
he?
there was a quick movement. He was the more prepared, so
Damn it,
he's going to
okay.
be going first.
Right. Okay.
And
It's okay.
he's
It's
gonna-
just a human with regular bullets.
Yeah.
They still hurt.
Yeah.
They do.
so
Neither.
There's a
like,
prophecy thing.
assuming it went first before you managed to shift, neither of you are in your breed form.
Nope.
So it won't hurt as much.
I mean, it'll hurt, it just heals.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's going to try and squeeze a shot off.
Actually, no, that's not true, because you can actually soak.
Yeah, because you can soak lethal when you're not
Yeah.
in breach. So it's like,
Yeah,
like I said,
you
it won't
can't
hurt as much.
otherwise.
All right. So, Alex, you need to try and soak 2 lethal
Okay.
from this guy.
All right.
Mm.
I don't think I have to do anything special. No.
Although as a metis, you just can always soak lethal because your breed form can also do that.
No, Meta's they do get some advantages for
a
being.
success.
I just like
Um,
the idea that this guy shoots Alex and watches her ignore it.
So there is a bright
There's-
pain.
Question.
Yeah.
I think fate can be used. It's any roll that failed or achieved fewer successes. Can I use it on soak for fate?
Not on this one, no.
Okay. Fair enough.
There is a bright pain in your shoulder as something hits.
Yep.
And as loud as the gunshot was, almost louder to your ears is the faint pap, pap, pap of drops of your blood hitting the soil behind you.
Yep.
And on this clear summer day, there's a crack of thunder overhead. But it's your turn now.
Yep. Do I take 1 damage?
So you have suffered 1 lethal damage.
All
yes.
right. Cool.
Make a
She
regen
regenerates
roll.
at the start of her
Yes.
turn or at the end of her turn.
I'm bruised. I'm gonna lunge and shift. And yeah.
Hey,
Are you
that
shifting to your breed form?
Yep.
Okay, so no roll
Yeah.
necessary.
Because it's empty. This is not a
You regen at the start of your roll. At the
Oh.
start of your turn, right?
Yes.
do I?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. do I roll for that, don't I? Hang on. I'm not good at combat rolls.
It's just a stamina roll.
It's a stamina roll.
I forget
Oh,
what the
yeah.
Yep, you
difficulty
roll
is.
your stamina difficulty 8.
Yep. Okay, I have that one up here. Hey, I'm good.
All right.
Yep. It goes back. Okay. So that's gone.
So you.
No.
Yep.
Yes.
So you're starting your
Okay.
turn as the wound closes up over your shoulder.
Yep. I'm gonna go for his throat. Damn it.
Get him.
What's the
You
last
had
thing?
it coming.
What's the first thing that goes through his mind? Alex's claws.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna bite.
Alex's teeth.
And
Nom
oops,
nom
that's
nom nom.
the wrong
muggers.
button.
Poor motherfucker.
Bite. 3 successes.
Okay, so damage with 2 extra.
2. Okay.
Mhm.
7.
Wow.
Like I said,
Five,
the first and last thing to go through his brain.
Yeah,
Alex's,
no, it's
Alex's
that's
teeth.
that's an insta-gib right there.
Okay.
Yep. So you just throw on an immense amount of weight and height, and your teeth just close over a head that pops like an egg.
And carry through into the van.
Fuck.
There's screaming from the open driver's window.
Oh.
Oh,
There's 2 guys here.
Like I said,
Oh,
this is
Did
why
you
you
forget
carry
that this
through
was an
into the
Uber?
van.
There's but it's Dakota's turn.
Yeah.
There's an open window in front of you and a guy with a gun inside at the driver's seat.
okay. So there
Kill
are
them too.
2 more guys inside.
No, just one more
One.
guy inside. There was the
Two.
guy who jumped out and
Okay.
his wheelman, basically.
Yup.
Okay. Well,
They made bad life decisions.
Yeah,
they
it's their
made
last
horrible
life
life
decision.
decisions.
But you guys
Um,
kind of also have, let's be fair.
Yeah. No, they injured Alex. They must die. Shift to Lupus. And
Oh, you're already shifted to Lupus. yeah.
Okay.
That's what kicked this whole thing off.
yeah, I'm going for this guy's throat.
Okay.
Bite attack.
Three successes.
3 successes. Awesome.
Damage plus 2.
Did you switch to Lupus form? Because I feel like you would have more
Oh,
dex
I
than that.
didn't. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I was about
That's okay.
to, and then an initiative happened. There we go. Okay.
Yep.
Try that again.
I mean, you can keep the
5
or go with
successes.
5 successes. If you'd
I'll
rather.
go with
yeah,
5.
That's fine too.
Damage
All right,
plus
damage
4.
plus 4.
Nice.
Okay, what
Aiden,
am
get-
I rolling here?
The
All right,
damage
so
dice.
across
is the black
from
one.
the bite, there should be an aggravated button
Oh.
for damage type.
I
And
see.
then it'll ask you for your modifiers. You'll put 4 in there.
All right.
And
Yes.
yeah, just straight up go.
Like 5
Oh,
minutes later,
werewolf.
Aiden gets a call with
There's
like,
a blur of fur and teeth. And the next thing you know, there is a man slumped down on a steering wheel, just gushing blood onto it. And Dakota is seated in the passenger seat, bloody maw, just sort of looking back out the driver's side window.
tail wagging.
You're probably a little bit of a tail wag. Right? Yeah. So you guys have 2 corpses in a car.
Oh fuck. We're definitely like covered in. This is not.
Pretty wet. I mean, the amount of blood that the human body can produce from large scale animal lacerations
Yep.
is not insignificant.
Yep.
Okay.
You're gonna need a whole case of bleach, is what I'm saying.
I feel like there was a distinct missed opportunity for this pack to get its own Dopinder.
Don't know
Deadpool.
what that-
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Well,
we can leave them here and people think it's an animal attack, right?
To be fair, you didn't kill them by biting their heads off, so
We did.
So
Blood
wait,
everywhere.
yeah, yeah.
You are currently in a different form, though, so when you shift back, it'll be fine. You'll be clean.
I don't think
No,
so.
that's
That
not
is
how
not
that
how
works.
how
We're still
that
gonna be
works.
covering them.
You have a psychic link to the rest of us, just as a reminder.
Yeah,
It's
but
true.
It's a situation.
So, like, how are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
like, there was
Ow.
blood. Yeah.
No, stuff happened.
Okay.
We need to
Should
get out
should we do
of-
the psychic link, or like, if
The
we do
light
it again,
dims
they will.
somewhat.
The-
You guys are starting to see clouds just boiling in.
There's a thunderstorm coming. We should.
It'll wash the blood off.
God damn it.
That is such a werewolf.
Amazing.
Full kind of person.
Just lupus form, run away.
Yeah, actually, let's get back. I shift to lupus. I try and shift. Actually, I'll spend a rage to get back. I think she's at that
All right.
point.
So the backpacks are of course strewn across the ground now because
Yeah,
you both
we're
shifted
abandoning
with
those.
undedicated and
No,
shit on you. Yeah. Mhm.
and begin this way. So, and then over the mental lake. So, storm's coming.
Thank you for the weather report.
And all of you in the city that are still within the city,
Yeah.
with the exception maybe of Anya, who's in a soundproof shed. Yeah, there was a thunderclap on a clear sky, and now clouds are boiling in out of fucking nowhere.
That's not
Clarification
natural.
needed. What the fuck?
Muggers in a van. They had a
Two
gun.
bleeding
Are you
dead
okay?
Where are you?
bodies.
We're fine. Getting back.
Okay, but Alex got shot.
Wait, okay. One at a time.
Yeah,
As yeah, probably like Ingvar and Ingvar and Hekau, through this like relative calmness, you just see he's like picked up. I mean, it's a fort, so picked up something particularly heavy and indestructible, and is just smashing the ground in anger.
Jack, I am pulling up their locations with my software, and I am headed down. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't think I don't know how long it's going to take Aiden to get the story, and sounds like we need to get them out of there.
One thing at a time. Are you both all right?
Well, Alex is bleeding.
No, not anymore. I'm fine now.
Oh, okay. Well, she was bleeding. I'm
Second
okay.
question.
Mhm.
Where are you exactly?
Give
Where
street
are you?
address.
Street corners.
Yeah, like intersection.
You can find street corner signs.
Yep.
And that would be
for where they're at currently, they would be.
Yeah.
How you asked that?
I don't need the actual street corners. I just need to know where it is relative to other things.
Yeah, it's probably
within walking
it's
distance.
probably about 10 minutes walk from the halfway house.
Okay.
Are you where the scene is, or have you walked away from?
No, running away.
Oh yeah, we're here covered in blood right now.
Addendum. Where is this? Is that corner where the scene is?
Yes.
I would have
Go back to the scene. I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Anya.
Yes. I'm probably closer. What do you need?
You're all good. Keep going.
So yeah, I am actually, so we never clarified. I assume that some of the drivers that I have access to are kinfolk.
Yeah.
Actually, fuck it. gonna take too long. Any of the kinfolk that I recognize that I know are drivers, that I know are on decently good terms with the nation. I'm conscripting one of them.
Okay.
Just
Absolutely.
the halfway house has people.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Hey, Vinny,
on my
we need
way
a car.
on my way out to the current guardian, I may be coming back with injured allies soon. Just as a warning, there should not be a current threat that we are aware of. Just to whoever's on duty. As zero in on nearest kinfolk.
Which would
meeting my
be
require.
Etienne. Etienne Savoy would be your closest kinfolk that you know can drive.
Yep.
Yep. So, yep, he...
Your keys to car has tinted windows. I need you to drive me.
He agrees.
Excellent. Silver Fang for the win. And yeah, giving him directions to the location over the mental link. And bringing a vehicle that has tinted windows. I am using the person's name.
Right.
Yeah.
Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Save me there.
I
am 1 minute away.
Okay. Aiden, throughout that, has been heading to his motorcycle. Doesn't bother, even though they're right next to him, doesn't even bother switching off of the totem phone. Cal Ingvar, keep doing what you're doing. We'll handle this. Getting on bike and
We're probably
as fast as can without getting pulled over.
This is
Okay.
this is early enough. I'm probably like in the middle of measuring Ingvar's hand for the hill.
Yeah.
It's like, hold this. Okay, hold this.
Yep.
And Anya, I'm gonna be on my bike, so I will not be able to make this call. That's I swear I'm not pushing this off onto you. Tell Juniper contact Juniper, she needs to know.
Do not feel bad about pushing things off onto me.
I know, but this is the being yelled at version. There's nothing else.
Yeah. So
you're about to get yelled at a lot.
As I am driving there, flipping up my phone, Juniper's number. If I have an urgent version and a normal version, I will use the urgent version.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean she has multiple phones, and yes, there is an emergency line, so you can definitely have access to and call that one. And it rings twice, and she picks up. What's going on?
I am not sure of the exact details. It seems that there was an incident involving muggers, and it seems Alex and Dakota need to dispose of bodies. Also, Alex seems to have been injured, though she should be fine by now.
Right. Did they give you an intersection?
Yes, repeats intersection. I'm headed to the scene now, as is Aiden, though he may be a little further out.
All right. Recover and extract your pack mates. Cleanup crew will be there in 5, probably.
Thank you. Should we return to the halfway house, or would you like us to head elsewhere?
There's a pause as you kind of see her sort of trying to mentally pinpoint the intersection. Back here is closest, safest.
Of course. Yeah, and I assume I'm there at this point. If it's a 10-minute walk. Yeah, I'm still on the phone if she has not hung up on me, but I am assuming by this point I must have made it.
Yeah, no, you guys are there in less than 180 seconds. And yeah, the last thing she just says before she hangs up the phone is keep it quiet. Beep.
Yes. Hold up. Are they Hamid yet, or are they still?
Probably still Wolf.
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
I will open up the fucking trunk. Just from the inside.
Jump in the
And
bed.
over the mental link in now. Aiden Juniper has instructed me to extract them from the scene. We are headed back to the halfway house. Do you want and yeah, just generally giving Aiden that update.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's good. Go with them.
Yeah.
I will stay behind for you. Get them there safe. I will stay behind for the cleanup crew. I can stay
Alright.
in. I can be incognito and not be standing right next to the thing when they show up, in case the cops happen to show up first. And I'm like, "Hey guys, what's going on?"
Yeah. So
Don't mind me.
frantically, you see a frantically gesturing, somewhat dark-skinned hand from inside the car, matching Anya's voice.
Dakota will jump in.
Yep, same. Jump in the back.
Okay.
Close it.
Sounds good.
Head us back to the halfway house.
Etienne nods and pulls a fairly impressive mid-lane U-turn in whatever fairly sizable vehicle you have at your disposal.
Anya keeps a car. It's not like she can use it, but it's occasionally
Right.
important.
But sometimes like this, you really need one now. Aiden, go ahead and give me a dexterity and drive difficulty 7.
I will spend willpower on this
Okay.
because this is not the kind of thing you want to wreck
I
or botch, but yes, wreck.
I like that from Hikau and Ingvar's perspective, this very quickly escalated and then was very quickly resolved while we're like still in the middle of measuring things.
What was the difficulty?
7.
7.
Like,
Okay.
Oh, there's an emergency. Okay, we're done.
All right.
Fucking
That's
seriously.
why you spend willpower.
Oh.
That's why
God.
you spend willpower, because otherwise your elbow would have been plastered all over the concrete.
Otherwise, Aiden is road fucking pizza.
Aiden sees another mugger and he's like, revenge. Directly into them.
I just plow directly into it. Unfortunately, it's a vampire. It's a vampire who can somehow be out during the day.
A dead
That's a
pair.
bad, like, a vampire who somehow achieves that is the most dangerous.
Yes, exactly.
Because there's like 3 ways to do that, and all of them require you to be a monster.
All of them require you to be second generation?
But yeah, you are coming down onto the
Yeah.
intersection between the interstate and the main east-west road that you were coming down, and there's a 2-car pileup here, and you just hit lock.
Oh, fuck's sake. Fuck it. It's only technically not legal, by which I mean entirely not legal.
Are you going up on the
Guess we're
sidewalk?
street driving or sidewalk driving.
Yes. Give me another dex drive.
Sidewalk
Same difficulty.
driving, through parks, back alleys, whatever it goddamn takes. Same diff?
Same diff.
Okay. So I see something that's interesting. Okay. So there's 3 successes.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, I accidentally rolled the wrong thing on the first one because even though it said Dex drive, it was Intelligence drive. So
Oh,
with
okay.
extra dice, I rolled that many. That just gave me the opportunity to roll ones.
Roll
because of
more
me.
ones. Yeah, right. But yeah, with 3 successes,
Yeah.
you're like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Yeah, and you just edge up the sidewalk. And by the time the cops are like, hey, wait, you're already 50 yards down the road and accelerating. And they're like, yeah, we've got plenty of work to do
Yeah.
here. Fuck it.
Such as
Some
is
of-
the
some
case
probably-
with any.
Somebody, right, yeah. Somebody
With
might
any,
have put a
yeah.
radio call on. Hey, there's an idiot on a motorcycle coming down Bonneville, but, we can scrape him up later, or
Right.
it's not our problem. One of the two.
That's what the traffic cams are for.
Right, exactly.
Basically, the same situation that happens anytime some asshole decides to drive on the sidewalk.
Right, exactly. But within about 5 minutes or so, you manage to get to the scene.
Okay.
Just as you meet a pickup truck with 3 individuals in it.
Okay.
And they are rolling out tarps, and they've got buckets of shit, and one of them is carefully like measuring a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, yeah, no, this will work. And the car is still idling right now.
Right.
So they sort of aim the wheels a little bit, and they pull out a brick, and they put it on the gas pedal and head it right towards a telephone pole.
Okay. Yeah. Once I pull up, all I'm gonna do so as not to get in their way. Alpha, do you need anything from me, or should I go now?
Somebody puts a jug of bleach in your hand. Blood puddles.
Yep, on it. Not the first time I've done this before.
And basically it looks like what they're doing is trying to move the scene of the crime about 50 yards down the road and have this place look a little weird and not worth investigating.
Right.
Who gets to figure out what piece of debris destroyed the second guy's head? Because I want to be that person.
Well, yep. They've already loaded the other corpse in the passenger seat. And yeah, the car rampages down the road as fast as second gear will get it there, slams into the telephone pole, which cracks and buckles a hair because it's a fucking telephone pole.
Right.
Somebody goes, grabs the brick, starts dousing the car with a little bit of gas, grabs a piece of rebar, smashes the windshield in a little more, reaches in, pulls the passenger side corpse part of the way out, and just kind of smashes his head against the glass a little bit. A little more gasoline. Lights a match.
His neck, you mean? His head is gone.
There's still remnants of it there.
Alex ate it.
Alex did not consume it. Alex knows the
I
litany
hope
that
not.
well.
Let's not turn this into a full litany violation. Like, it's already threatening there. That's one of the really bad ones.
It's like the picture.
Yeah.
Like
Hopefully Alex did not casually eat a person.
No.
3 hours later, Alex back in Hamid form is like, why is there hair in my teeth?
I mean, there still might be hair in my teeth, but...
Yeah.
Attack biting is probably more okay.
Yeah.
Oh, attack biting's fine. Just don't swallow.
Right. Yeah. It's
Spit it out. Spit it out.
Yep.
Yep. Spit, don't swallow. That's the key.
God.
You hear Dakota doing the dog about to vomit sound, like raw.
Please don't do it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
And Aiden, you see a horrific mauling fairly quickly and reasonably successfully manipulated into a horrific loss of control of a vehicle that was definitely speeding. One of them is kind of like going through a mental checklist. Oh, fuck. And you see him go and grab a bottle of Fireball out of the back of the truck, pull the lid off. He drinks about half of it before he gets to the car, and then just sort of lobs it through the windshield so that there's at least some alcohol in there somewhere. Yep. Mm-hmm.
He looks over and goes, is this what we call the James Mansfield?
That's a good name for that. I'm going to have that one off you.
For those who don't get the joke, James Mansfield was an actress in the 60s who in a car accident got decapitated.
Right. Yep. It was pretty gruesome.
It was horrible.
It was horrific.
The two of you keep smiling and laughing about it.
because it was because two things. One, it was in the 60s.
Right.
And two, it gives me a reason to shit on Kenneth Anger because fuck Kenneth Anger, who
always
published the pictures in Hollywood Babylon.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyways.
Visionary filmmaker, shitty human being.
But that, in the aftermath of a smoking car wreck and with a thunderstorm boiling in, that is where we will leave it for this week.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Place to leave it.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.